she said, we can find a place, I don't know, you know.
No pressure. So Sam is going to be my co-pilot here. My daughter Sam. Oh, you're not filming. All right, here we go. I'm going to read mostly and not look at you, because if I look at you, I'll just go. So I did a practice read earlier. It didn't go too badly. So here we go. Friends and family, thank you all for coming. It is my honor to speak before you about my dad, or Michael Allen Joseph Diamond, as he called himself for some reason. So it's been an interesting week preparing for this eulogy. I've changed it up a million times in my head. What to do with a room full of people only here to celebrate my dad's life. How to condense 69 years into 30 minutes and 17 slides. But I forgot the slideshow. And I only plan on talking 5 minutes. It's certainly intimidating to have to write the warmest, funniest, most heartfelt eulogy ever. I'll give it a go, since if anyone deserves it, it's my dad. So I'm going to brag a little bit about my dad. As the oldest, it's my right, but as a man and a father, I want to share the qualities I most admired about my dad, and those I think he would want to pass on. I'm going to reflect on those values and ask you to be like Mike. At his core, my dad was an artist. I didn't really realize it growing up, and maybe it was something that he developed later, but he was super talented. His credits include being a writer, a voice actor, stage actor, and TV actor. I'm embellishing a little because he was only in one commercial and only in one play. But his artistry blossomed when he went back to school in his 30s and flourished at the radio station. The 23-year-old gig at the radio station was his second career. He started as an intern 2 months before turning 34. First, he simply wrote commercials, then he voiced the commercials. He then sprinkled in voice characters that he created and developed using all sorts of accents, from Scottish, German, and the Yooper, don't you know. I remember he would bring me to the radio station on weekends. He would swirl the reel-to-reel tapes around like a ninja and bang out commercials with speed, grace, and talent of a chef at Nakashima's. Some commercials would occasionally need a second tape, but typically we'd be done in a handful of commercials in 15 minutes, and then we would spend the rest 45 minutes listening to music in the studio all by ourselves. What a treat. He acted in a play. Yep, just the one, but he did it. He was an angry man, imagine that. He was even moved to write a short story about his dad and mom and brought them to life with his voice. He called it In the Wind, and the recording is around here somewhere if you want to listen to it. I'm quite proud of the artist he was. And the handwriting. His to-do list and grocery list were like a thing of art. He could make turkey, no onion, pickle on the side. Request looked majestic. I kept one of those in my wallet for months, since you get the same thing over and over at Pizza King. And I like showing it off to the person behind the counter. I brought a sample of his tally sheets from when he scored our epic stolen bases games in the backyard. He watched proudly. It was probably that artistry and his love of it that led to our shared love of TV and movies, mostly in the science fiction realm. As a kid, I fondly remember weekend trips to the used paperback store. I had no idea Conan the Barbarian had so many adventures, but I think my dad read them all, and he returned them all so we could buy more. I'll remember fondly the smell of those bookstores and those paperbacks. I'm not sure when and where I discovered The Hobbit, or even if it was at one of those bookstores, but I'm sure it's my dad's influence that shaped my love for all that stuff. I'm very glad we got to share so many things. From novels about dwarves, a dark elf named Driss, and the Lord of the Rings movies, each of which I saw in the theater with my dad. We played D&D together, and I got him into video games because I figured he'd enjoy it. I just saw Megan, so I told myself I wasn't going to look up. Wow, did he enjoy the video games, and we enjoyed them together. He loved the artistry. So be like Mike, follow your passion, and be artistic. He was actually really good at sports. He played softball when I was a kid. There's one picture to prove it. But I remember going to the games. I think he was good. I recall that he was. But I mostly recall the amount of hubba bubba we'd have to order to get ready for the games. At least 3 packs. As he got older, he loved watching us play. Man, he came to a lot of games. He occasionally traveled to Oshkosh to see us dominate for years in co-ed softball, and he came to most of the games that Corey and I played in Appleton. He was even there that fateful day when I broke my leg on the softball field and rode in the ambulance with me, holding my hand the whole way. As strong as he was, I managed to crush it. He told us all tales about his prowess in baseball as a kid, how once he hit a ball so far they couldn't find it, and they had to end the game. But I recall more fondly and recently when he told Corey and I that as good as he wasn't as good as we were, and he enjoyed watching us. That made Corey and I feel pretty good. Whether true or not, that's how he was. Dad cherished the game of baseball, a love he inherited from his grandpa. He listened to lots of games and knew so much about baseball from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, it was insane. Thanks to WGN, we watched a lot of Cub games and inherited the Cub Blue. Dad also admired a lot of baseball players, but not all of the players he admired were the greatest of players. He liked the ones with grit, determination, dedication to one team, and a good mustache for some reason seemed to help. Players like Bobby Grich, Bill Buckner, Kirk Gibson, and Cal Ripken. And then there was Ernie Banks. He played 19 years on, for what was the most part, a crappy team. Never complained.
Mom, which one is my wallet?
And his quote about it being a nice day and playing 2 games that you'll find on my dad's card has less to do with the weather than it did for Ernie's love of the game. And knowing that he was just blessed to play. I know Dad was fond of that spirit. So, he like Mike, play hard, have fun, and cherish the game. Looking around my dad's computer room, you won't find any trophies or accolades from any of his talents. I know he won awards at the radio station, but they were not that important to him, just part of a job well done. Instead, it's filled with the things he loved, pictures of loved ones, memories of great times, and certainly a hero theme. The statues and pictures of soldiers and warriors protecting their loved ones. It said a lot about my dad. He favored the hero, the one that saved the princess. I think this is why he's found so much joy in the video games. My dad, for some reason, was always lawful good, and generally a lawful good paladin. As his career ended in the radio station, I encouraged him to seek out avenues for his talent. To try Green Bay, Milwaukee, or even shop his gifted voice and writing talents around to some studio for video game voice acting. I thought he would be tremendous at it. He declined, humble in his talent and not wanting to reinvent himself. He just wanted to do something to ride out his career and focus on and be near his family. So be like Mike, put family first, but know your alignment and play it well. My dad was just plain nice. I knew he was fun. I knew he was nice. But it's been wonderful seeing the stories pour in this week of how he touched lives in his days. He was warm, open, friendly, funny, charming, and easy to talk to. He was friends with my friends. He was friends with my wife, my kids, and my fiance. He was just a great guy. You couldn't help but like him back. And he always carried a very nice compliment about me and told people he'd like me even if I wasn't his son. It's actually a compliment. The reverse is true as well. I liked him not just because he was my dad, because he was such a good friend. I would have liked Mike Diamond even if he wasn't my dad, and glad all of you had a chance to know him. So be like Mike, love strong, and be nice to everyone. Overall, my dad was pretty freaking cool. He was strong as hell and even fast when we were young. He brought home baseball cards and snack cakes from open pantry between careers, later telling us that he hardly paid for any of them. My dad was on the radio. He was the official scorekeeper for the Appleton Foxes and announced every batter. My dad was in a commercial. My dad was in a play. People came to his call when he quit the radio station, or it quit him, whichever you want to feel. As a grandparent, he continued to be unique and cool. He played Halo with his grandkids. I mean, he sucked, but he played. He loved the internet and loved computer games. He played D&D with me. He asked his grandson to build him a gaming computer. He texted. Thank God Lindsay upgraded him from a flip phone. He video chatted, posted on Facebook, made friends with bloggers, made friends with local artists. He knew more about upcoming video games than me, all in his 60s. Not many people can boast that on their resume. So be like Mike, find a way to be unique and be cool. My dad's three sons, could almost not be different, but he raved about us all. Brian, he was so proud of the business you've built with your talents. And the father, it's going to get worse. He was so proud of the business you built with your talents and the father you became. Corey, ditto. But in all honesty, Corey, he was very proud of your hard work in balancing two crazy hectic schedules and then adding two wonderful children through adoption. I know he wished he could have been around more with those kids. He was insanely proud of all of us. And in fact, he's probably incredibly proud of the wit, sarcasm, and humor we shared with each other this week. But the story of my dad would not be complete without a chapter or two about Lindsay. Mike and Lindsay knew what they were getting into and talked long and hard about knowing this day would come. But they would not let that stop them. And Lindsay, Mike was so in love with you, he would tell me all the time, "You're not helping." You grounded him, kept him young, gave him a lot to look forward to. Thank you for loving him so unconditionally, so thoroughly, and so hard. I wish it could have been longer, but I'm deeply thankful for the joy and love you gave him. So now's the time when I wrap up and might need some help. Vicki is always there to remind me to count my blessings, and she had her work cut out for her this week. And Cheryl, thank you for sharing what you shared. It's very on the same page. And Vicki kept me from being sad about all the things that Pops and I won't do, but reminded me to reflect on how lucky I was for all that I did. So how lucky was I? I got to chase foul balls and be in the presence of baseball players at Goodland Field. I got to have a dad to play video games. I had a dad to talk to almost every day. We shared stories, fantasy baseball lineups, standings, Carl Sagan quotes, Cub games, teased teasers of upcoming movies, previews of upcoming video games. Ironically, he usually outpaced me in the games we played. How lucky was I to have to ask my dad how to pass a quest or challenge in a game. We had so much to share with each other. I had a reason to talk to Pops nearly every day. How lucky was I? In the end, 69 years is a decent run, but it doesn't seem like enough time. I was super lucky to have the relationship I did have, and one I know he cherished as much as I did, or more. He wasn't just my dad.
No goosebumps.
He was one of my best friends. Almost there. All week long, I instinctively reached for the phone or the keyboard so I could Google chat with Pops. Ugh, that's gonna be tough. Thank you, Dad, for all you were and all you gave me. What I wouldn't do for one more chance. To say thanks and that I love you. I made it. So now I'm done. Thank you for not making me look at you. But not before telling you that Mike would want us to do today. He'd have it no other way. For the next couple of hours, we spent laughing, hugging, telling good tales, and he'd want us to eat, drink, and be merry. So please, I invite you to sign the picture board, write a tribute on the album, or come up and share your own stories, or dedicate a song to him if we can figure out how to get that working. Thank you very much.